You guys got what you wanted. The white people who wanted him dead anyway, the black people who wanted him dead as well. He lives in Texas and he's black. We already know what's gonna happen. Shut up. Like, just shut up.
You're watching the trial that's now shaking the nation, and it's not over yet. In a twist that no one saw coming, the courtroom gasped today as the judge hinted that Karmelo Anthony might walk free. You could feel the air leave the room. No verdict yet, no final decision. But this update was loud enough to leave the Metcalf family in literal tears. And if you followed this case from the beginning, you know why that hits hard. This isn't just about a trial anymore. It's about what happens when a case that should be straightforward somehow keeps getting more complicated. Reports from inside the courtroom say the judge cited a lack of clarity around key evidence, a statement that immediately set social media on fire. People are calling it everything from a technical loophole to a miscarriage of justice in real time. You might be thinking, how does someone go from a leaked video that showed no clear self-defense to possibly getting released? That's the exact question everyone in that courtroom is asking too. The prosecution looked blindsided, their confidence shaken. And as for the Metcalf family, sources say they couldn't hold it together. Cameras outside caught them leaving early, visibly distraught, while Karmelo's supporters seemed almost emboldened by the moment. Whether this was a moment of genuine legal doubt or just the system cracking under pressure, one thing is certain: the narrative is shifting, fast. If you were sitting in that courtroom today, you might have mistaken it for the calm before a storm. The judge's update wasn't a full statement, it was a strategic comment slipped in as proceedings wrapped. He said, quote, "Given the inconsistencies in the testimonies and lack of definitive visual evidence, the possibility of pretrial release cannot be dismissed." Just like that, everything changed. It wasn't a ruling, but it sounded close enough to one for emotions to erupt. The Metcalf family's attorney immediately objected, demanding clarification, but the judge waved it off, saying the court was simply reviewing all options before moving forward. That sentence alone ignited speculation. Was this a sign of the defense gaining ground? Was the case beginning to unravel from within? On the other side, Karmelo's defense team looked smug, almost too smug. They whispered among themselves, visibly confident. It's as if they've been waiting for this moment, slowly chipping away at the state's case, and now, finally, they can see the cracks forming. And here's where things get even more unsettling. Online supporters of Karmelo began trending "Free Karmelo" again, citing the judge's statement as proof he was being held unfairly. Meanwhile, critics exploded with frustration, pointing out that the lack of definitive visual evidence conveniently ignored the witness testimonies and aftermath footage that had already circulated. So who's being listened to? Who's being believed? The families sat just a few feet apart today, but emotionally, they were in entirely different worlds. And if this moment taught us anything, it's that justice, whatever it ends up looking like, won't come without a fight. If you were outside the courthouse today, you didn't just witness a crowd. You felt the pressure of a community split right down the middle. The moment news broke about the judge's statement, the atmosphere outside changed dramatically. What started as a silent gathering of supporters quickly turned into shouting matches, chants, and emotional confrontations. On one side, Metcalf's family supporters stood with signs demanding justice, many of them visibly shaken and confused. On the other, Karmelo's advocates reignited the "Free Karmelo" chants, claiming this new update was proof the system had gotten it wrong all along. One woman, standing with the Metcalf side, tearfully asked, "How is this even possible?" She held a photo of Austin in her hands like a shield. Meanwhile, a man wearing a hoodie with Karmelo's name on the back argued that it was never murder, it was fear. The media twisted it. But here's the thing, this isn't just a legal battle anymore. It's personal, deeply personal, and it's grown beyond just two families. The entire city seems to be treating this trial like a mirror, reflecting its pain, its division, and its desperate need for answers. The most heartbreaking moment came when Austin's younger cousin attempted to speak to a local reporter, only to break down midway through. Her words? "If he walks, what do we tell kids about doing the right thing?" That quote spread across social media like wildfire. Meanwhile, courtroom insiders hinted that the prosecution may be scrambling to gather additional statements before the next hearing. It's clear they were blindsided by the judge's remarks, and they're now under intense pressure to deliver a strong rebuttal. If you were online in the last 12 hours, you've probably already seen it. Screenshots, reposts, commentary from influencers and celebrities reacting to the possibility that Karmelo Anthony could walk free. And the responses? They've been explosive. A-list figures in music and sports didn't hold back. One rapper with over 10 million followers tweeted, "If Karmelo gets off after what we saw on that tape, I'm done believing in the system." His post has over 400,000 likes and thousands of quote tweets, some backing him, others saying the justice system finally made the right call. Meanwhile, an NFL player posted an Instagram story with a black screen and the words, "He's a kid. We've all made mistakes." That alone stirred major backlash, especially from Metcalf supporters, who feel that framing a fatal stabbing as a mistake is dangerously dismissive. But not all voices have been emotional. Some legal commentators and analysts have chimed in with more technical takes, highlighting that the judge's statement didn't confirm acquittal, but rather signaled potential doubts about the strength of the prosecution's case. Still, the damage was done. Public perception shifted. The idea that Karmelo might walk became a headline in itself. Even prominent Black Lives Matter activists appear split. Some are calling for calm and urging due process. Others say the movement will lose credibility if they back someone seen by many as guilty with no remorse. The result? Total chaos online. Debates, duets, reactions, and outrage. It's all happening in real time, and it's turning this trial into more than a legal matter. It's a cultural flashpoint. You're sitting in that courtroom, waiting for the tension to ease, but instead, it escalates. The judge clears his throat and leans into the mic, delivering a statement that leaves the room silent for all the wrong reasons. Based on current evidence, Mr. Anthony may be eligible for pretrial release pending further review. You feel the floor shift beneath you. The Metcalf family is visibly shaken. Austin's mother grabs the edge of the bench, eyes wide, face pale. The father stares blankly ahead, clenching his fists. Their lawyer stands, protesting the decision, but the judge waves it off. And just like that, the energy shifts. People in the gallery start whispering, some recording, others frozen in disbelief. You hear gasps. A few family friends start crying. Austin's sister mouths the words, "He's getting out?" And you realize the courtroom isn't just a room anymore. It's a powder keg. Outside, news spreads like wildfire. Reporters are already typing out headlines. Karmelo may walk free, and it's only been seconds. Social media lights up. Everyone has an opinion. One viral clip captures the Metcalf attorney storming out, shouting, "Where's the justice? My client's son is dead." It loops endlessly on Twitter. Inside, Karmelo's defense team smirks, but quietly. No fist pumps, no celebration, just the confidence of people who know they're winning. Even Karmelo doesn't smile. He just lowers his head slightly, then glances at his mom. She's crying again, but this time, it's not grief. The Metcalfs stare across the aisle, eyes locked on the boy who changed their lives forever. In that moment, you don't see closure. You see devastation. A family ripped apart, once by a blade, and now again, by a system they no longer trust. You feel the crowd's mood shift from disbelief to unrest. Tensions are no longer simmering, they're boiling. As you scan the room, you spot murmurs turning into arguments, whispers becoming shouts. The judge calls for order, banging the gavel, but no one seems to hear it anymore. One side of the courtroom, mostly Karmelo's supporters, tries to contain smiles. A few even begin quietly celebrating the potential of him walking free. But then you look at Austin's family. His mother is trembling, gripping the courtroom bench like it's the only thing keeping her upright. His father is red in the face, jaw locked. Then it happens. A man from the Metcalf side, likely a cousin, rises and shouts, "You're letting a killer walk free?" The room erupts. A woman from Karmelo's side shouts back, "He didn't start the fight!" And that's all it takes. Security rushes in as both families stand, pointing, shouting, crying. The judge quickly calls for a recess, disappearing behind his chamber doors. Deputies flood the space, attempting to separate the parties before it becomes physical. You see one man escorted out, yelling, "This ain't over!" Cameras are rolling now. Reporters outside the building will have breaking news in minutes. Through the chaos, Karmelo sits still, almost too still. His eyes scan the courtroom, and for a brief second you think he looks scared. Not guilty, not smug, just scared. Maybe he realizes this isn't just a trial, it's a storm. Outside, protesters begin to gather again, signs ready, chants growing louder. Justice for Austin blends into Free Karmelo. The clash of narratives continues, each side growing more hostile by the hour. You leave the courtroom with a sick feeling in your stomach, not just because of the ruling, but because you know whatever happens next won't be quiet. You're seated in the courtroom. The air is thick. The judge leans forward, glancing down at the bench before delivering the update that would ripple across the nation. He doesn't say Karmelo Anthony is innocent. He doesn't say he's guilty. Instead, he speaks in the gray area, the kind of language that signals hesitation. He references procedural uncertainty, lack of clear premeditation, and conflicting witness testimonies. Then, the words drop. It is possible Mr. Anthony may not serve further time pending review. The Metcalf family? Frozen. For a second, there's no sound, just stunned stillness. Then Austin's mother breaks. Her hand flies over her mouth as tears pour down. Austin's father stands, not aggressively, but firmly. his face a mix of disbelief and rising fury. A security guard steps slightly closer, just in case. Around them, murmurs build into whispers, then into quiet gasps across the gallery. It doesn't feel like justice. It feels like a shortcut, a loophole, a system crack. You see Metcalf's sister grab her phone, immediately typing something out, likely a message to the family's legal team, or maybe a tweet that'll be viral by the time you're home. Other family supporters are already on the move, some leaving the courtroom in protest, others remaining, eyes locked on the bench. It wasn't an official verdict, but to the Metcalfs, it might as well have been. The emotional collapse wasn't just about grief, it was about helplessness. After months of pushing for justice, the judge's tone didn't feel like a setback. It felt like the beginning of the end. And as we head into segment 6, we dive into the legal loopholes that may allow Karmelo Anthony to walk free, why this update caught even seasoned attorneys off guard, and how it could shape high-profile trials going forward.